Radio Play Comics is meant to adapt the stories mostly of great unadapted old and forgotten comics from the past. I use voice acting and narration to abridge the work as much as possible without lessening its impact, and to bring these stories to life the best way I can. Please enjoy. Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to the Fusion Space for the third and final entry in my series of Indiana Jones comics, Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the Gods, published in 2008. There are a fair amount of indie comics, and other than Fate of Atlantis, none of these stories are available in any other format. There are three main eras of indie comics, firstly an ongoing series Marvel made in the 80s, then a bunch of limited series from Dark Horse in the 90s, and then some more modern comics that came out along with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, also from Dark Horse but with a very different art style. While published as part of the wave of merchandise accompanying Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Tomb of the Gods has nothing to do with the film and is set during Indy's prime in 1936. 1/3 of an ancient stone disc has been unearthed, setting the Nazis in search of the other two parts, and the unknown power, legend says, the stone key unlocks. Indy rescues a professor hiding the next piece by swinging across a high-rise construction site, although the scholar, once he has passed on his duty to Indy, chooses his own end. The disc piece is taken by our story's femme fatale before he can leave the building though, while disguised as a French maid. She is a competing treasure hunter, and she and Indy will meet again. But first, he's off with his old friend Marcus Brodie to Tibet to seek out the academic holding the final piece of the ancient, possibly even prehistoric puzzle. But the power held behind that gate is also prophesied to end the world. So for once in Indiana Jones's long career, the only right thing to do may be to not discover it. After an encounter with some sharks and the lady treasure hunter and a dog sled chase across the tundra, both showing us Indy in exciting situations the movies never got around to, the quest ends deep underneath the ice in northern Siberia, in a place truly never explored before by humans, if it was built by humans at all. To me, it's alright that this was the only Dark Horse series to come out with Crystal Skull, because it is very good, perhaps even the best of them all. In fact, it almost borders on fan service, the amount of classic indie action they managed to pack into one story. I'll leave that judgment for you to make as we go along. I do think at least this was a different era than when the 90s comics were published. They were selling new and varied adventures to an existing and strong fan base familiar with the movies, the same as many action movies through the decade called back to Indiana Jones and continued the genre of adventure films, even resulting in a small boom of pulp hero movies such as Dick Tracy, The Shadow, The Rocketeer, and The Phantom. And I would say culminating in The Mummy in 1999, perhaps Indy's clearest successor, which would then spark its own trend towards more horror and monsters in the adventure genre, leading soon to Peter Jackson's King Kong. As such, this comic's version of Indiana Jones is polished and refined for maximum appeal to reignite interest in that genre and the movies, and that's why I think he hits so many high notes in this tale. He uses the whip more often than in anything else I've seen outside of video games, for example. The perilous situations presented are second to none in terms of the danger to Indy. He has tons of great character moments. The artifact and power are some of the oldest ever seen in the series, perhaps even predating recorded history. And his female companion seems to check every box in the Indy girl book, being beautiful, clever, ambitious, resourceful, and even treacherous yet redeemable. I also love the art in this book. The coloring especially is an improvement over 90s standards, and the other comics published at the same time seem more aimed at kids and adopted more of a webcomic or modern cartoon style of art than trying to draw Harrison on the page as this book does. In any case though, it's fair to say that Tomb of the Gods invites you to come along for an adventure into the imagination like no other, with the one and only Indiana Jones. I could never get into the Star Wars or indie novels very well. The films just have such a visual component to me that I couldn't make the connection to the worlds I loved in my imagination. But here in the comics, I found that visual component I had been missing, and I could enjoy these almost as much as the movies. I hope you'll feel the same. I dearly wish I could play the copyrighted indie music, but that's just not possible on YouTube. But perhaps you superfans could open another tab and load up a few selections from the beloved film scores, if you are so inclined, to play during action scenes, investigation scenes, the big climax, for example. It's Indiana Jones. If you're a fan, you probably know what music goes where. Now, let's begin. Siberia, 1931. North of the city of Norilsk. Deep underground in a mine, a bucket is raised from a well.
My God! We must leave now. If we are discovered, you've been paid enough for this. You can wait another couple of minutes. Your money will not compensate for what will be done to me if we are found. I assure you, Mr. Milberg. Stalin values his diamond mines.
If we're correct, old boy, there's far more value here than diamonds.
Hurry up, Francis. The goddamn thing's heavier than hell.
The weight of gravitas, hey, O'Brien? Protruding from the rocks is a large curved stone engraved with symbols. Gentlemen, I believe we have just made history. A frog leaps over a log surrounded by plants, and a snake soon pursues it.
Psst. He is not armed. Restrain him.
Hey, get your hands! Hey! Indiana Jones is grabbed by two men and pushed down towards the snake.
Psst. Tell me who you are and why you are here. Quickly, before I ask them to hurt you.
I'm a college professor.
Wrong answer.
New York, 1936. The scene is not in the jungle, but rather a book-filled apartment with just a small habitat of the jungle housing the snake and some plants.
There's Henrik Melberg, Mr.
Dr. Jones. I don't know.
Then why are you in his home? Why do you have a key allowing you to enter whenever you please?
Ow. I've never met Melberg. I received a letter with a key attached asking me to meet him here on a matter of the utmost importance. If you're aware of what that is, you know more than I do.
Yes, I'm sure I do. But let's find out, just in case. Our mutual friend is obviously a slave to knowledge, Dr. Jones. This apartment is filled with rare books, ancient pieces. It is a hymn to the past, with just one glorious, deadly example of the present.
Indy's head is shoved over the snake's case, and it rears up to greet him.
This is a king cobra, Dr. Jones, the world's largest venomous snake. It is unlike the rest of its species in one important aspect. It mainly eats other snakes.
Less snakes. I can live with that.
Perhaps Melberg keeps it as a symbol of history's true nature, the strongest surviving off the meat of the weak.
You're a load of fun at parties, I can tell.
There's Henrik Melberg, Dr. Jones. There's his piece of the key. I strongly suggest you tell me now.
A maid enters, and everyone looks at her.
Huh? Housekeeping? We're busy now, practicing for play. Old Bricht. Very good. Very physical. You come back later.
Nice, Snakey. Nice. Indy ducks just as the snake strikes. And it sinks its fangs into the neck of the man holding him. He swings his satchel into one thug, knocking him into another and making them drop their guns.
Stop him!
Indy punches a big guy.
You certainly hit like a college professor.
Who then throws him through a wall covered in books. I might need an explanation here.
It is a false wall for false knowledge, and it hides a great secret.
Behind the wall hides an old man and part of a stone disc on a pedestal.
Dr. Jones, I am Henrik Melberg.
What period is this from? What is this? He gravely picks it up.
The beginning and the end.
I love a positive attitude. Come on, does corridor go anywhere? Bullets impact on the wall as they run down a passage to a ladder.
Yes, I had it built especially for just such an eventuality. I knew someone would eventually come looking for me.
And these guys are?
They are led by Dr. Friedrich von Hassel, and they are the unearthed, the ancestral heritage branch of the SS, dedicated to archaeology surrounding the superiority of the Aryan race and the occult. If they are here, I can only assume that they already have Marwell O'Brien's third of the key.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you can tell me all about it once we've shaken them off. After climbing it, Indy opens a hatch to the roof. I know I shouldn't, considering my line of work, but I really hate secret passageways. They never lead anywhere good. Indy helps Professor Melberg up. Across from their roof is another building with roof access, but between them and it is a high-rise building still under construction, and beyond them both lies the skyline of New York City, filled with the prop plane aviators of the day.
Manhattan, the architectural pinnacle of Western society's development. Dr. Jones, in many ways, this is the very reason I contacted you. All this could be swept away.
Now's probably not the best time. The pursuing Nazis open fire again, giving them little choice, so Indy and the professor begin carefully balancing themselves as they cross the grid of I-beams. I hope you've got to head for heights, Henrik.
Dr. Jones, there are 3 pieces of this artifact. They must not gain them all. I had not heard from Marwell O'Brien, and feared that the unearthed had his piece and were coming for me. I wrote to you as a last resort. I have read of your work. I thought that you might understand.
Oof. Indy stops them when they reach a large gap before the next beam.
History and antiquarianism are our very essence, Dr. Jones. Academia and archaeology are lifeblood.
He unbuckles his satchel. Yeah, you're right. Indiana Jones takes out his trademark bullwhip and lashes it to a beam above them. I'm a bookworm. Professor Melberg hangs on for dear life as Indy swings them across the gap. Henrik and Indy continue on their way as the Germans catch up and ready their weapons.
If we fire and they fall, we lose the key. What do we do? We ensure that our aim is exact.
Von Hassel fires with precision, catching Professor Melberg in the back, and making the stone piece drop onto the beam below as he loses his balance.
Go back, head down several floors and find the way across into the other tower to get them on the other side.
Yes, sir.
All that matters is the key, gentlemen.
Huh?
Hang on! Indy sees it as he kneels down to grab Henrik's arm, who grabs his sleeve.
Listen to me, Dr. Jones.
You're slipping, Henrik.
It's imperative that you listen to me. They must not have it. Do you understand? We each took one section for safety. If they have O'Brien's, they still need my piece and Beresford Hope's. He hid his section in Tibet. They need all 3 pieces to open it.
Open what? Open what, Henrik?
In your eyes, I can see it. The desire. The same desire that we had. Beware, Dr. Jones. Some mysteries are best left undiscovered.
With tears in his eyes, Henrik lets go. Indy is haunted by the look of pure terror on his face as he falls. He picks up the stone piece. Okay, Henrik, you've got me. And makes it to the other building, heading down the stairs.
Get in! Get in! The elevator! He's heading for the elevator!
Bullets hit the elevator doors as they close behind Indy's foot. He holds the artifact in his whip awkwardly, sharing the elevator with the maid. I guess you're wondering.
I like the whip.
It's for archaeological purposes. Really?
Yeah? So's this.
She pulls a pistol from her cart. You're with them?
I'm with myself. Now, why don't you hand me Melberg's third of the key?
Indy lays down the stone.
Good choice, Professor Jones.
It's Dr. Jones, actually.
Yeah? Then why don't you show me your stethoscope? Turn around. Hands on your head.
And you are?
A seeker of artifacts, just like you. With one small difference.
What would that be?
I actually get what I'm after.
She knocks Indy out with the butt of the gun.
Sleep tight, Professor.
He awakens to see several policemen with their own guns drawn. Hi. Later, back at Marshall College.
I'm very relieved that they relieved you and released you so quickly.
That's nice to hear.
Archaeology post can be a devil to fill, you know.
I've never seen anything like it, Marcus. The markings, unknown hieroglyphics, and it was old. Older than anything we know.
Paleolithic?
No, it seemed older, Marcus.
Oh, come now, Indy.
I know what I'm saying. It was older. Marcus gives Indy a skeptical look. It looked like 1/3 of a circular object. You put the 3 parts together, it makes a key, and it opens something.
And if the girl was working for the Nazis, they had 2 parts.
They only need Beresford Hope's section. That's what Melberg said. Melberg wrote to me, Marcus. He knew that this would be perfect for my particular skills, and he let go and fell after he'd passed the baton. I've got to go after it.
I knew Francis Beresford Hope back in Oxford. Sir Francis now, I believe. It'll be good to see him again.
I don't know, Marcus. This could get a little dangerous, and it gets very cold in Tibet.
Come now, Indy. A little field trip? It'll be fun.
A red line on the map shows Indiana Jones and Marcus Brodie's path to Nepal, Tibet, by airplane. Tibet. The two scholars make their way up a mountain. You okay?
When, exactly, did Tibet turn into a tropical climate? You said it gets cold in Tibet.
It does. They get sunny days too, though. First rule of traveling, Marcus. You gotta dress right.
Yes, you're quite the clothes horse, Indiana.
You'll sweat less if you stop talking. Indy gives Marcus a hand up, while they are watched by a silent figure in a cave with a rifle. The guy paid in Lhasa said this is where the crazy Englishman lives. He heads into the city to buy ammo, yak meat, and lots of Chang, the local beer.
The diet of champions. Doesn't really look like the home of an English aristocrat, or smell like one.
Hold on a second. Once inside the cave, Indy lights a torch. They both look around at the walls, and their expressions turn to shock and dismay. Scrawled all over the cave walls are strange symbols matching those on the disc pieces. The questions, the map, and the key opens what? And other disturbing images, such as what appear to be tentacles extending out from a deep hole.
My God. I knew Beresford Hope. He liked to drink, yes, but he was perfectly sane. This, however, is the work of a madman.
Suddenly, a lit bundle of dynamite is thrown into the cave.
I apologize for the madman comment. I can see that it may have caused offense.
And it explodes. To be continued. Tibet.
We surrender.
Marcus walks out from the dust from the blast, waving a white handkerchief.
Please, my friend is badly hurt.
A man dressed like a monk holds a rifle on him.
Good. You're about to join him.
Indy's whip cracks out from within the dust cloud. It wraps around the rifle, which fires wild as Indy yanks it away. The man goes for his pistol, but Indy beats him to the draw. Don't. He hands his gun to Marcus. If he moves, shoot him. With the thin end.
Yes.
You blew my hat off. Indy puts his hat back on. I hate that. And congratulations, you blew the hell out of the cave, too.
The carvings?
Gone. Most of them. We would have been too if it wasn't for some heavy boulders to dive behind.
You Nazi bastard will never find it now. So just kill me and go home, eh?
We sound German to you, kid?
My dear boy, we came here to try and stop the Nazis. Henrik Melberg sent us. We're looking for a man called Beresford Hope.
Well, you found him.
You aged extremely well, Francis.
Despite your appearance as an upper-class English accent, Oxford educated, right? So I'm guessing you're his son. What's your name? And where's the old man?
I'm Alex. And my father died 11 months ago.
And you're left sleeping in a cave at the top of the world, guarding the secret in his place.
How did he die? There were many things that can kill you up here. The cold, the animals, bandits. And he was always ranting about how local spies would sell him out to the Nazis eventually. But madness and alcohol were more than enough to kill Sir Francis Beresford Hope. I came here 2 years ago to try to discover why my father had abandoned his affluent life and family to live like a madman in a cave. Imagine my surprise when I eventually found him and discovered that he was a madman living in a cave, hiding a secret that I could not leave unguarded. Bandits and spies.
Huh? Indy turns to Marcus.
Bandits and spies.
He sees a line of armed men on horseback high up on a ridge. Run! Run! Indy grabs both of the others and starts them running in the other direction, none of them noticing one carving which survived the blast. An image of a door opening, and the phrase, "The end of all things." Waiting serenely with the plane is Indy's snake-loving pilot friend, Jock.
I am at peace.
Jock!
I am at peace like a big shiny-headed Tibetan monk.
Start the engines!
Haven't felt this relaxed in years.
Jock!
It's the fresh air, I'm telling you.
Start the engines! Finally, he hears Indy's voice approaching and turns to look.
Huh?
He sees Indy, Marcus, and Alex running for the plane before a swarm of horsemen chasing them. Start the engines, Jock!
Huh. Always the same with this guy.
Jock starts the plane rolling and the propellers spinning, and soon they near the door. Jump, Marcus!
I'm not quite as young as I used to be, Indy. Hey.
Indy helps Marcus into the plane as one of the attackers reaches for him, with Alex lagging behind. Jock sees a large rock in their path. That's kinda big. I must have missed that when we landed. A wheel hits it, and all 4 people are bounced into the plane.
Whoa!
You're in! Fasten your seatbelts! End of the runway's coming up! We are out of here! Great. Thank heavens. Good riddance. Help!
Hello.
Yeah, that'd be right. Now the engine's cut out. You know that feeling of peace I was talking about? The plane goes over the edge of a cliff. Ah! Everyone in the back hits the ceiling. Start the engines! With incisive advice like that, I can see why he's a college professor. Come on! Jock flips the switch as they nosedive, and finally the engines spring back to life. The plane swoops upward, narrowly clearing the rocks. The attacking raider is tossed out of the plane, and a moment later his parachute deploys. Crap, we didn't get the third part of the key. Well, my father's last words were, "Never leave it unguarded." Lucky for you, I listened to him for once. Alex presents the final piece of the key to them.
Indy, my God.
You see, Marcus? It's like nothing we've ever studied before. The markings, the hieroglyphs.
And this strong line here, it almost looks like a...
It's a map of the North Siberian coast. X never marks the spot, kid. Treasure maps? They're from children's stories. We deal in knowledge.
Knowledge? Well then, let me tell you what I know. My father, Henrik Melberg, and Marwell O'Brien found something up in northern Siberia. He would never tell me what. They also found this key. The key split into 3 pieces. Fate, perhaps. So they each took one section and guarded them in different parts of the globe. That way the map could not be completed. They knew that whatever's up there in Siberia, it is far too dangerous to ever be allowed to fall into the wrong hands. I also know that my father was driven insane by their discovery. Sometimes knowledge can be a terrible thing. What if the Nazis had the other 2 parts of the key? Could that take them to whatever your father and the others discovered? If X marks the spot, you mean? It could get them dangerously close. Well then, I guess we'll just have to beat them to it. A red line on the map shows their path across Asia from Tibet to Shanghai, China. Indy talks to a man at the docks and secures them all passage on a Russian freighter to Siberia. However, he is observed by a spy and reported to a man in a suit. I'm worried, Indy.
You're not going to give me this speech, are you, Marcus? Relax, you're not even coming. Someone needs to stay here and coordinate all this with the university, and coordinating's your thing. This is mine.
Yes, you've hardly emerged from this room since we arrived here.
I've seen Shanghai before. This is new.
Indiana?
Look, no one's ever seen anything like this before, Marcus. Not Abner, not Forrestal, no one. We've always studied the history of the world, but this is a new history, and we can be the ones to write it. Indiana Jones takes off his glasses and looks gravely at Marcus, who returns the look while giving him his satchel. Indy picks up the dynamite sticking out of it. Marcus, you can't be serious. Whatever that key opens, one can only presume it was shut for a very good reason. You're not going up there to bring this one back, Indy. Whatever it is, if it's as dangerous as Alex says, and the Nazis are close, you're going there to destroy it. That's not what we do, Marcus. We uncover secrets. We increase knowledge and understanding. We bring history to life. But we don't write it. This isn't about fortune and glory. Please, Indy. He rubs his head, thinking it over. Marcus waves goodbye as the ship sets sail.
Blast.
You sure about this? We've got to make port in Japan, heading north. Could drop you off there.
I've been living in a cave eating yak meat for 2 years, Dr. Jones. I even became a Buddhist monk for a while.
but the fashion sense didn't really take. And for all that time, I've done little else but study those markings. So I'll be buggered if I'm going to let a bunch of Nazis get their hand on it now. Besides, I really want to know what's hidden up there. Yeah, I know what you mean. A red line on the map traces the ship's path over the Pacific Ocean, past the coast of Japan. Hey Alex, I've been looking at these underside hieroglyphs again, and I think you might be wrong about the... Indy is greeted by a gun as he heads onto the deck. Or you could be right. Either way. It is held by Janice, who has arrived with the Nazis.
Hey, Professor. I like this outfit better than the college tweed. But I gotta ask, is there a lot of call for lion tamers in the middle of the Pacific? Geography may not be your strong suit.
You?
Yep, me. Points for observation.
I thought you weren't with them.
I wasn't, but they made me a hell of an offer. And a girl's gotta eat caviar, right?
Miss Janice Lewa has been helping us study the other two parts of the key, Dr. Jones. And now we have all three. Search his quarters. Find it.
How'd you get on board, Von Hassel?
Our Fuhrer has eyes and ears in every port, Dr. Jones. And the ship's captain and his crew can be bought for the right price.
Von Hassel draws his own pistol.
You should have paid attention back in Japan. After all, it behooves an expedition leader to be aware of what is being loaded onto his ship. Some illicit cargo can be highly dangerous. So then, what to do with you?
Indy is set adrift on a small boat.
Land is several days away. If you had any oars, that is.
That's what I like about you people. Great sense of humor.
Come now, Dr. Jones, let's not make this personal. This, after all, is a quest for knowledge, something I'm sure that you respect. It is unfortunate, now that we have the key, the map, and Mr. Beresford Hope to guide us, you have no more knowledge to give. And sadly, the same goes for Miss Leroy.
Huh?
Von Hassel extends a blade from his sleeve and slices Janice's arm open. She falls in the water, and Indy dives in after her. It's okay. I've got you. It's okay. It's not okay. Really not okay. Von Hassel opens fire on the dinghy, filling the wood with holes. What did the boat ever do to you?
Miss Leroy seems to be bleeding quite badly. This is the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Jones. Do you know how many sharks call this part of the world home? History is like the shark. It has no mercy and moves ever forward. As must we. Auf Wiedersehen, Dr. Jones. It appears I have a date to keep with destiny.
Indy ties a tourniquet on Janice's arm as the ship steams away. Night falls, and their situation has not improved. Crap. By next morning, they have been forced to capsize the boat to keep it afloat as they cling to the hull. You awake?
Uh-huh.
How's the bleeding?
I think tying it off helped it.
Yeah? Looks like we got lucky. Unbeknownst to them, a group of sharks have arrived in the water deep beneath the boat, following the blood trail. To be continued. Pacific Ocean, north of Japan. Indiana Jones fends off the sharks with his whip, cracking it at their exposed fins while balancing on the boat. Well, I've had better days. Janice covers his back with a wooden plank.
We get out of this, and every meal's going to be shark fin soup from now on. I'm going to be a one-woman seafood genocide, I swear.
All that money the Nazis gave you for Melberg's third of the key? That'll pay a few restaurant bills. You signed a contract for that, Janice? Because you may want to take another look at the terms and conditions.
I tell you what, Jones. You can take the moral high ground when we're actually on some damn high ground, okay? Then, if you've still got both your legs, you can kick me hard on the ass. How's that?
Janice!
What?
Suddenly a hammerhead shark burst from the water behind her. Janice smacks it with her board.
You got anything else you want to say to me, Professor? I'd advise you to pick your words real careful.
Take your shirt off. Indy starts taking off his own shirt.
The strangest thing. I could have sworn you just said.
Come on, come on.
And now he's shouting at me. You academics have really got to get out more. Meet more women.
Just hope this isn't waterlogged and will still light. He holds his lighter to it. Shh. Yes.
So, the 100 sharks in the open ocean aren't enough for you? You want to set fire to us too? That's brilliant. You got troubles at home or something, Jones?
If we start a fire, there'll be smoke. If any planes or ships are in the area, they'll see the smoke and come rescue us. It's the only hope we have, Janice. Now do as I say, and give me your shirt. Indy grabs her shirt and tries to tear it off. Shh. Janice decks him. Big fin. Really big fin. Great white-sized fin. Janice balls up her shirt.
Come on, Jones. You gonna light this thing or not?
More sharks circle the boat as smoke trails into the sky.
Fire's going out.
Yep.
Any other brilliant ideas, Professor?
Nope.
Never thought I'd go like this.
I could shoot you if you like.
You've had a gun all this time?
Nah. Von Hassel took it back on the ship. I'm just kidding you.
Ain't you the regular Jack Benny?
Go out with a laugh, that's what I say.
There are other things I'd rather do with my last few moments.
Oh yeah? And what might they be?
Come here, and I'll show you, Professor.
Just as they are about to kiss, the great white shark explodes up through the boat, smashing it to pieces. Indy surfaces first. Janice, you okay? Janice!
I'm here. Indy.
I know, honey. He puts on his floating hat as the giant fin heads straight for them. Stay behind me. Just before it strikes, a harpoon pierces its side. And the huge shark is yanked away from them. The other sharks scatter, swimming away from the newly arrived ship.
Not that I'm complaining about the rescue or anything, but who is that? And why is he wearing that hat?
He may not be the best at working out the right outfits for the climate he's in, but that is Marcus Brodie of Marshall College. He's my friend. Indy and Janice are soon brought on board. I couldn't bear to see you leave the way you did, and I became convinced that you might need help, so I hired this whaling ship to follow you north. Luckily, we saw the smoke.
What on earth happened, Indy?
Marcus, thank you. Indy hugs his friend.
Oof, you're welcome.
Marcus, can I ask you something personal?
Of course, Indy.
Why are you wearing that hat?
We're heading north up the Bering Strait. It's Arctic weather, I thought.
We're not that far north yet.
Well, yes, but one never knows when the weather might change.
They've got the key, Marcus. All 3 parts of it. So they had the entire map.
The Nazis?
Von Hassel, the unearthed. They have Alex, too.
Well, they've got at least a day's head start on us. So what do you say, boys? Let's get moving. What?
Janice is quickly escorted to the brig.
Jones, you son of a bitch! You make a move on me and then you lock me up? Is that how you treat a terrified shark attack survivor?
I didn't make a move on her. She was helping the Nazis. And the sharks were actually terrified of her, I swear.
He did make a move, and he got me to take my shirt off.
There was a good reason for that.
Oh, I'm sure. There usually is.
A red line on the map shows the whaling ship's path north through the Bering Strait to the Arctic Ocean, where the ship encounters a heavy storm.
You may want to stay in here where it's dry, Indy.
Yeah, I noticed that. I can't see a damn thing out there. We could be yards from an iceberg and we'd never know it.
The captain says he's rarely seen a storm like this, if ever. One could almost be forgiven for feeling that something wants us to turn back.
North Siberian coast. The next day, Indy and Marcus scan the coast of ice under clear skies.
Anything?
I know it's somewhere in this region of the coast from studying Beresford Hope's section of the key, but there are so many inlets, they could be anywhere. And while we hesitate and look for a sign, Von Hassel and his goons can head straight there. It's hopeless, Marcus. Indy brings Janice a peace offering of food.
I see you've got a Michelin star chef hidden on board, Professor. Nice work. Give him my compliments, yeah? I do it myself, but I'm not sure I'll survive the second mouthful.
It's about the only thing up here that's hot, Janice, so just eat it, will ya? Jesus, you're a pain in the ass.
Ooh, aren't we the cranky archaeological adventurer this morning? What's up? Care to share?
Von Hassel's got all 3 parts of the key. He has Alex. He has the map. He can head straight there and open it. Whatever it is. Meanwhile, we're stuck on top of the world playing Polar Bear Safari, and there's nothing we can do about it.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you let me out of this cell, and I'll help you? After all, we're not that dissimilar, you and I. We're both all about the treasure. We make a pretty good team.
You, Janice, are all about the money, and people like that just can't be trusted. We're nothing alike. I am not all about the treasure. I'm an academic. I study these things.
You tell yourself that, sure. But if it were all about the study for you, you'd never leave the classroom. No, you run around the globe putting yourself and others at risk, looking for shiny things, items of glory, items that glorify. I may look for the check, but you're looking for a different kind of payout.
Okay, Janice, you win. There's nowhere for you to run up here, and I can't see life with the Inuits appealing to a high society gal like you. Congratulations, you now have free reign of the ship. Indy opens the door.
Nice choice, Prof. Now, how's about I pay you back for the favor?
She takes off her coat. Janice, there's no need, really. Besides, it's kinda cold in here, you know?
Don't flatter yourself. I'm grateful, but not that grateful. But I do have something exciting to show you.
Janice pulls her shirt open wide and takes a map from her bra.
I'm a fortune hunter, right? So do you honestly think I'm going to study an ancient artifact and not make a copy of the treasure map? I hid it where I figured Von Hassel wouldn't look. It's a little water-stained, but it's still readable. Only thing is, this is from Melberg and O'Brien's sections, so it's missing the final third. I didn't have long enough with Beresford Hope's piece to make a copy.
I did. What do you know, Janice? Maybe we're not that different after all. They unload on the shore and assemble 2 teams of dogs attached to sleds. We've made land earlier than the map says to.
The route south seems more direct this way, so maybe we can catch them, or even overtake them. I hate to sound overly cautious, but there must be a reason the map avoids this particular area.
Marcus points to a horseshoe shape in the path that, if crossed, would be quite a shortcut. Yep, it's probably dangerous.
Highly dangerous. Oh dear.
Indiana Jones and Marcus Brodie ride one sled behind Janice Leroy on another as they cross a narrow beam of ice stretching across a deep ravine.
The ice bridge, Indy!
Damn it, Marcus, stop screaming in my ear. That map's at least thousands of years old. The landscape will have changed. Maybe this bridge didn't exist back then, so this chasm would have been impassable.
I realize that. I'm trying to tell you, the ice bridge is collapsing!
They barely make it onto the next ice mass. Come on! Before the bridge crumbles and falls behind them. That was too close.
Remind me to give you a pay raise when we get back home, Indy. You deserve it.
The 2 dog sleds make their way across the blank and silent tundra. Well, there's the mountains from the map.
And the requisite storm awaits us, I see.
Milberg said that the key was the beginning and the end.
Yes, and this certainly looks the place for it.
No sign of Von Hassel's group, though.
Indy?
Yeah?
You might want to look to your right.
Marcus points, and Indy sees the Nazis' dog sleds also making good speed across the icy ground. Okay. Thinking. Take the reins, Marcus. Get us in closer.
What are you going to do?
Something the college wouldn't approve of. Indiana Jones stands atop the sled, readying his whip in one hand and his revolver in the other.
Dr. Von Hassel.
What now? Indy's whip wraps around the guard's head before he can finish.
It's Jones.
And Indy yanks him off the sled. I could be wrong, old boy, but I think he said, "It's Jones." Von Hassel looks over. Only to see Indy leaping from one dog sled to the other. He kicks the Nazi off the sled as he lands, then grabs another's head as he aims his gun and fires at the driver. Indy's sled races alongside Von Hassel's while Alex grapples with the villain.
Get off me, you fool!
Alex, jump across to the other sled! Indy jumps to dodge gunfire at his feet and nearly falls off. But he lashes his whip onto the sled and regains his balance. Whoa! Just as the Germans aim their machine guns at him.
You have him! Fire! Fire!
Suddenly, Janice rams her sled into theirs and they drop their gun.
Oops, sorry guys. Women drivers. What are you gonna do?
Lightning strikes the ice field ahead of the sleds and it begins to break apart. Indy is pitched off his sled, dropping his gun and whip as the ground disappears beneath them.
Oh no!
The dog sled slides off the ice into darkness, and Indy soon follows it.
Oh!
To be concluded. Northern Siberia, below ground. Indiana Jones hangs on to a stone gargoyle deep underneath the icy surface. He tries to climb up it, and for a moment thinks he is safe. But then the head breaks off, and they fall. He slides down the wall of the crevasse as it becomes a slope, finally coming to rest at a plateau. Ice. Thank God for ice. Someone up there must like me. Or maybe not. He approaches the growls in the darkness, and the dogs greet him warmly, except for one. Hey guys, he didn't survive the fall. I'm sorry. And neither did they, huh? Several Nazis lie nearby under their broken sleds. What is this? Almost seems like a road or a walkway for something big, leading up to the surface. It's not a natural phenomenon. No sign of the others, and if I'm alive, they might be. Well, I think I'm alive. There is a white light ahead, and it's kind of beckoning me. And it's getting warm down here. And I'm talking to myself. I never used to talk to myself. A hand covers his mouth from behind. Janice whispers to him.
Quiet. We're not alone.
Scared the hell out of me.
Here's your weirdo whip. It came down ahead of you.
It is not weirdo.
I don't suppose you still have your revolver?
Lost it in the fall.
Great. Well, I suppose you can still knock cigarettes out of people's mouths for dimes. That'll be useful.
Indy touches the walls of the cave, which are covered with greenery. This plant life. I've never seen anything like it. I think it's what's giving off the heat. It's amazing.
You want to see amazing? Come take a look at this, Professor.
Below them are Alex, Marcus, Von Hassel, and the Nazis, all looking ahead with wonder. Great. Marcus and Alex are alive, and it looks like the fall took care of some of Von Hassel's men. I'm going to climb down and go around them. You wait a few seconds, and then...
Time out, Jones. Take another look.
They're not moving. Why aren't they moving? No one's even pointing guns. They usually really like pointing guns. I don't understand.
You're missing the big picture.
Janice turns his face to look beyond them. Good God.
Maybe. I wouldn't count on it.
In the center of the large cavern sits a temple with a massive doorway, decorated with strange symbols and huge carved tentacles flowing out from a horrific central body. And behind it, an entire city filled with alien architecture.
We have reached our destination, gentlemen. It would be rude not to follow this moment to its climax, seeing as fate has brought us here.
Von Hassel points his gun at Alex and Marcus.
Enter the tomb, please.
I'm not sure that's a terribly good idea. Whatever built that, I don't think it was human.
You boys should feel right at home then, eh?
Oop, you were right. Back to pointing the guns. So, what's the plan then, Professor? Hey, you hear me?
The beginning and the end, Melberg said. It's the end of everything we thought we knew, and the beginning of a new world, a new history. And I don't think it's a tomb.
What is it then?
A gatehouse. It's the front door. It's locked, and Von Hassel has the key.
A front door? What's behind the front door? And why is it locked?
To keep me out, sweetheart. It's always to keep me out. Never quite works, though.
Yeah, but sometimes doors are locked to keep things inside.
Indy and Janice follow the others into the temple, staying hidden above them.
We have come all this way, searching for knowledge, my friends. And knowledge is what we have found.
Inside, the room is covered with more swirling tentacles and squamous forms, and rises several stories to a high roof which is pitch black and blanketed by points of white. An enormous stone door stands shut on one wall.
Is that?
It's a map of the stars. Star charts, a definite route previously unknown, an atlas of the heavens. Directions, my friends. Directions to the celestial. Directions to power.
What a shame you have no way of following those directions.
The Fuhrer is very excited by the possibilities of the rocket, Mr. Beresford Hope. We have great men such as Hermann Oberth and Werner von Braun working on such technology, even as we speak. So, not now, perhaps, but soon.
You can't be serious.
Why not, Brodie? Let us hypothesize that whoever built this tomb created this map as a tribute to their home. After all, Mr. Beresford Hope's father and his two colleagues found the key in Prophesied, Siberia. One of the largest impact craters on Earth, 100 kilometers in diameter, many millions of years old. Something came here, Brodie. Something that offers us a glorious new universe of understanding. All that and more is locked behind that door. So now you will take that key and open it for me, Mr. Beresford Hope. You have studied it at length, so I have full confidence in your ability to avoid any unexpected booby traps.
Von Hassel points his gun at Alex again, who stares him down. One of the guards hears a voice in his head.
Kill them. Open the door.
What? There weren't just two colleagues, you know. The three of them found the key by accident when studying the Prophesied crater. Someone, once upon a time, took it from here and hid it there for the world's safety. Or so my father believed. But the party that followed the key's map north was eventually 15 strong. Only Melberg, O'Brien, and my father made it out alive. And none of them were ever sane again. The doorway protects itself, was all my father would ever say on the matter. The guard inspects a glowing green globe in the wall.
Kill them. Open the door. Open the door. I will be forced to kill you.
All well and good, old son. You can threaten me, offer me the earth and beyond. But I swore to my drunken idiot of a father that I'd protect this at all costs. And I will. Knowledge for its own wonder is something close to heaven, I think. Knowledge for the pursuit of power and glory, however, that is the road to hell. So you and your Fuhrer can bugger off. I'm not doing it.
Shouldn't we do something?
Wait. He'll open it. Indy begins to sweat nervously. Come on, Alex. You said yourself how desperate you are to know what's inside. Open it.
You have made your point clearly, Mr. Beresford Hope. Your stand and force of will are admirable. I can see that there is no point arguing with you.
Von Hassel extends his hidden blade.
Shoo! But it means you are no more use to me, I'm afraid.
He slashes Alex across the neck, killing him.
No.
Marcus stares at his body in horror.
Now then, Brodie, would you care to open the door in his place, perhaps? I shall give you 10 seconds to decide. What is this?
3 of the guards, now hypnotized, turn their guns on the others and fire.
Kill them.
Several of the other guards are gunned down as Von Hassel ducks behind them for cover, and Marcus is knocked down. Oh dear. In retrospect, bringing the rucksack full of dynamite may have been an error in judgment.
Kill them.
Indiana Jones swings out on a vine with his whip uncoiled, shouting to get their attention. Hey! He kicks one of the hypnotized guards off his feet, then cracks his whip out as he lands. It wraps around another guard's neck. Then Indy hauls him in and socks him. Come here. He begins to help Marcus up. Marcus, I'm sorry. You were right what you said back in Shanghai. I wanted it too much. We don't write history.
There'll be time for that later, Indy. Or perhaps not.
The last hypnotized guard draws a bead on them.
Kill them. Open the...
Until Janice shoots him from behind.
So, fellas, I get one of the luxury cabins on the way home for this, or what?
They all clap their hands over their ears as an unearthly sound, something like a growl, booms through the cavern.
What in the world was that?
Something nasty, Marcus. Something very nasty. Von Hassel has placed the key in the gigantic door, and the ancient stone rumbles as it opens. Indy grabs a satchel of dynamite from Marcus. Von Hassel stands before the wide tunnel which lay behind the door, swirling deep into the earth.
Did you hear that? That most heavenly of sounds? It is the sound of a birth. The birth of a new world. It is the same sound that the Fuhrer himself will hear. Try to stop me if you must, but I have already sent back these coordinates from the ship. Others are coming. Knowledge is our world, Jones. It is what the likes of you and I seek out before we take breath each day.
Indy ducks Von Hassel's blade as he rants.
For us, this moment is akin to Epiphany, an ancient world previously undiscovered for us to explore. The monotony of repeated experience gone, replaced by the angelic, awakening touch of the new.
He grabs Indy by the collar, shouting in his face.
History, alive! For God's sake, man, this is everything that you are. You want this as much as I. Admit it.
Indy knees him in the crotch. Yeah, you're right. But right now that doesn't matter a damn. You know why? You killed Alex. He throws Von Hassel into the deep hole. Indy lights the dynamite. Won't be much left for your Fuhrer to see when he gets here, I'm afraid, and tosses it in after him. Run!
That's hardly an ammunition dump, Indy. I needn't think
We're underground, Marcus!
Oh, yes. I forgot.
Indy grabs Marcus and Janice, and they all run away. Von Hassel sees the dynamite slide down past him.
No,
And explode. The cavern crumbles, and huge chunks of stone rain down, burying the gateway once again.
Knowledge brings us closer to God. Although what God that is can occasionally be a problem, admittedly. You did the right thing, Indy.
Janice wraps her arms around him.
Yeah, Jones. Even I was impressed.
Really?
Hell no. I thought there'd be gold doubloons or Julie gourds or something at the end of all this. What the hell kind of treasure hunter are you, anyway?
I'm not a treasure hunter, sweetheart. I'm a college professor. Better start climbing, I guess. The end. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this presentation of Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the Gods, and this series of indie comics in general. Check out the others if you haven't, and keep an eye on this channel because I probably will come back and adapt more of the 90s Dark Horse series over time. Indiana Jones is a character who spurs the imagination with 5 excellent movies and a slew of fun video games. As I've said, I couldn't really get into the novels because they lacked the visual component the films had, but I love these comics, and I hope that you've been able to enjoy them almost as much as the movies and games. If you would like more adventures, I can't recommend the game Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb enough, although if you played that to death, Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine is a charming, if slow-paced, platformer from the early days of them, and it has a good story, if nothing else. And I'll always be partial to Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures on the Super Nintendo, and the arcade game for Temple of Doom. But beyond that, I can't recommend many of them besides Fate of Atlantis, and that with the caveat that I myself have never been able to make sense of those point-and-click adventure games, but other fans seem to love them. Otherwise, though, that'll do it for Indie Month, and I hope to see you again for more adventures with other characters soon. I just put these into a new playlist of all my movie spin-off comics. But until next time, take care out there. And as always, thanks for watching.